Hey y'all, hey, it's Amber, bringing you our weekly time together where we're going to talk about movies. What does that mean? Well, it means we're going to go over this upcoming weekend's new releases, what I've been watching, a rundown of last week's box office stats, such as the changes in the top 10, how well I did on the predictions for who I thought would be in the top 5, but more importantly, who's number 1? Let's get started. Okay, before I get started with all the movie talk and television and what we're just going to go over today, I just wanted to congratulate my back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, that is the Tampa Bay Lightning. They won the Stanley Cup while I was putting on the finishing touches from last week's video. You may have seen a little shout out at the end of the video, since who can afford to actually buy tickets to go to a finals game, because it's not me. I'm still in a lot of shock that they won back-to-back the Stanley Cup, but I've actually been saying since back in the day before we won our first one in 2004 that I believe this team could pull it off. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's not even the same team from 04 obviously, but it's just, I just felt like this team would be able to do a back-to-back Stanley Cup win at some point, and here we are. I'm just so happy for my team, and just wanted to take this short moment to congratulate you guys, and I really can't wait to see what you guys are able to do next season. Alright, let's get into it. This coming weekend, we only have 2 wide release movies, which actually I think is true, but yeah, editing Amber here. Nicolas Cage has a movie coming out called Pig, and no matter what website I look at, no one has it listed. You have to actually go to the movie page for it to show that it comes out July 16th. So I'm assuming that means it's limited release, even though several theaters around me have them. So I watched the trailer because I've heard about it, but I haven't watched the trailer yet, so I made sure to do that.
That's my pick.
Like weird good. Like, I could see why people are just like side-eyeing the shit out of this, but it actually looks really good. That's James Cameron for some reason. So yeah, I think I want to go see that. It looks really good. So check it out if it comes out around you and if you have the time. But until then, back to me. And those 2 wide releases are Escape Room Tournament of Champions and Space Jam. Both of these movies are side-eye worthy, in my opinion, and here's why. 1, I think I saw the trailer for Escape Room. I want to say it was before A Quiet Place, the sequel. I remember sitting there thinking, like, are we this desperate for plots for movies that we're subjecting ourselves to this? Because, oh my god, what is this? So I don't think I will be seeing this movie. Number 2, we don't need a reboot of Space Jam. I know I'm probably the only person that saying that, because I think everybody wants to see this. I saw the trailer, trying not to side-eye it, but I couldn't help but side-eye it because they tried to redo one of the Space Jam songs. I'm like, no, absolutely not. I'm done. But really, we don't need a reboot. I'm not saying the original was like an Oscar-worthy performing film, but I think it's safe to say that for those of us that grew up with it, that it is a cult classic, mainly because we just love the hell out of the cheesiness that is the cheese that movie oozed. Plus, oh my god, the soundtrack. It's like you take cartoons, you take Michael Jordan, and then you take some jams and you put them together with Bill Murray. It just, I don't know, it works. I kind of want to watch the original again because it's been a little bit, and then go see it maybe, but I'm not going to see it this weekend, that's for sure. But see what you guys think. I finally got to watch Kid 90, which is a documentary film on Hulu right now. So this documentary is pretty much Soleil Moon Frye, who plays Punky Brewster, which I will now refer to her as Punky Brewster because that's all I would call her as a child, because that's a show I used to watch all the time. This documentary, Kid 90, is her pretty much pulling out her Pandora's box of home videos and diaries that she kept while growing up in Hollywood as a young actor with all her young actor friends. I've been wanting to watch this for a while, just I kept forgetting that it was on Hulu and just finally got around to it. I highly recommend watching it because it has a lot of actors that a lot of us probably had crushes on when we were younger, like Jonathan Brandis is in it. Brian Austin Greer's in it. Leo pops up a few times, which I was like, ooh. But it's just pretty much her going through how it was like being a young actor in Hollywood and the pressure and whatnot, and just follows her through pretty much discovering herself as a person, and that kind of hit me. So yeah, I highly recommend watching it. It was a very good watch and very emotional, since I was a big fan of Jonathan Brandis. I still am. A lot of his moments in this documentary were kind of hard to listen to, but I knew going in that that was going to be a thing that I would have to see. Definitely check it out if you're interested in seeing the crazy 90s young Hollywood actors and actresses trying to find their own voice, really, in that weird time. Well, I did it. I finally started watching the Fast and Furious movies. We started the other day. As of right now, we're up to film 6, which, funny enough, I don't know how we're gonna watch 7 and 8 because I don't have those DVDs. I guess I'll have to use my Google rewards to pay for those rentals. And then once we've caught up, then we'll go to the theater to see the newest one, and then I'll have a rating for you guys and a video, hopefully. I think that covers the movies that I've watched lately. Let's skim over a TV real quick. So, oh my god, Shark Week started on Sunday, July 11th. I haven't watched anything, but I am a religious watcher of Shark Week. I've been watching it since I can remember. There's some programs on there that I'm actually really excited. Like I saw last night while setting up my DVR to record shows that the first show is with Bob Irwin, which is Steve Irwin's son. I'm like, so I'm all about that. I saw a Jackass Shark Week show that I'm excited about, and then I saw that Tiffany Haddish is doing something with Shark Week too, so I'm super excited for those. And of course there's always the educational stuff. My favorite thing is everything with great whites, unless it's the Air Jaws. I can't stand that program, so I tend to not watch that one, but anything dealing with great whites I'm here for. I love watching the shark attack ones, but they don't do those as often. And shout out to Bob the Shark. Oh my god, I love Bob the Shark. I can't wait to start watching those because it is definitely my favorite program to watch every year. I started watching Atlanta Missing and Murdered. I think it's a 5-part series. I haven't finished it yet. I've only watched 3 episodes so far. It's on HBO Max, and it's about the 29 kids that were murdered in Atlanta in the 70s and 80s. And like I mentioned 2 weeks ago with The Shrink Next Door, with this documentary Atlanta Missing and Murdered, I listened to a podcast a few years back by my boy Payne Lindsay called Atlanta Monster, I believe it was called. It's pretty much going over this story, and the way that this documentary is going, it sounds like they're giving you more of a in-depth coverage of all sides, like from the guy that got convicted side to the family members to the prosecutor and the DA and the mayor and all that situation. Not to say that the Payne Lindsay podcast didn't, but it just feels like this is going more in depth, especially with how the city was, like giving you a historical idea of what the city was going through and all of that. So it's pretty interesting. I'm actually excited to see how this program ends, considering it's making it seem like they don't know if the guy that was convicted did it or not. So I'm like, ooh, what kind of new evidence do you have? So I'm sure I'll have more to talk about next week when I finish it. Yo, oh my god, Too Hot to Handle. Remember how I told you last week they were a mess? These people are crazy. I watched 5 episodes in one sitting because the stuff was just so crazy I couldn't like stop. And I should have been watching more Fast and Furious movies, but that's another situation. So where I'm at in Too Hot to Handle, I'm almost finished. I think I have like 4 or 5 episodes left, I don't know. They keep bringing new people in, which is hilarious because it's disrupting the people that are already coupled and causing more problems and causing people to break more rules, which means they lose more money. Like, it's insane. Like, come on guys, have some self-control. Like, geez Louise. So yeah, if you're not watching it, it's on Netflix. You should definitely check it out if you like bad reality TV, because it's very entertaining. It's just like watching a very slow car crash, and I'm here for it. Alright, so let's go over my predictions for July 9th through the 11th. Who I thought would be the top 5. So I had number 1 as Black Widow, number 2 Fast and Furious 9, Number 3, Boss Baby Family Business. Number 4, A Quiet Place Part 2. And number 5, I has a toss-up, either The Forever Purge or A Hitman's Wife Bodyguard. But I think I finally was just like, I'm gonna just pick Forever Purge. So those were my top 5 predictions for July 9th through the 11th. Moving right along to the changes of the top 10 for the same weekend of July 9th through 11th. Again, I only go over the movies that were at some point in the top 5, not the entire top 10, just so you guys know. First change I saw at number 11 was Conjuring 3. The week before was at number 8, so are we really saying bye to Conjuring 3 already? That's crazy. But then again, it's been out for 6 weeks now, so yeah. That's sad. I need to go see this before it disappears. Bye, Conjuring 3. Although I wouldn't be surprised if you pop back into the top 10, but we'll see. Number 10, it was Zola, which is surprising considering in the previous weekend it was number 9. So it's slowly going down, but it's very interesting to see that it's still in the top 10. I didn't think it would last too long, let alone be in the top 10, but here we are. Number 9 is In the Heights. The previous weekend it was number 10, so that was interesting that it went up, but then again Conjuring went down, so it's like, oh, I'll take your spot. Thanks. Peter Rabbit 2 was number 8, and the previous week was number 7, so that's slowly gonna go down, but we predicted that. And number 7 is Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, which the previous week it was number 5, so ooh, down 2. And the last change, which is at number 6, it's actually not a change at all because it's Cruella holding tight to number 6. It's like, I will not leave this spot. Because like I said, the previous week it was also number 6. So wow. But I don't know how long she's going to be able to hold on, especially with the 2 new releases we have coming out this weekend. So we'll just have to wait and see. Alright, so let's get into the top 5 for July 9th through the 11th. As you remember, Black Widow was the only new movie opening that weekend, so let's see how well she did. Okay, at number 5 we have A Quiet Place Part 2. Made $3 million this past weekend, and the previous weekend it was at number 4. So it's slowly going down, but again, it makes sense because it's been out for a while. But number 4 was The Forever Purge, making $6.7 million this past weekend, and the previous weekend it was at number 3. I did obviously predict that it would be lower than A Quiet Place Part 2, but this also makes sense because it is newer than A Quiet Place Part 2, and they're both kind of in the thriller horror genre, so that's why that kind of it's in number 4 instead of number 5 like I predicted. Number 3 is The Boss Baby Family Business, making $8.7 million this last weekend, and the previous weekend it was at number 2. Seems like we just shifted down the top 5 from the weekend before. Number 2 is The Fast and Furious 9, making a total of $10.8 million this past weekend, and the previous weekend it was at number 1. So again, we're just shifting down. It makes sense. And obviously that leaves number 1 being Black Widow, making $80 million. Holy crap. That took the number 1 spot of highest grossing box office opening in the pandemic away from Fast and Furious. So $80 million its opening weekend. That's crazy. But like I said last weekend, I had a feeling the Marvel fans were going to come out full force, and they showed up. Alright, so let's do my predictions for this upcoming weekend, which is July 16th through the 18th. I feel like this one's going to be another tough pick for this upcoming weekend since we do have Space Jam and Escape Room, like, whatever. But they're going up against Black Widow and Fast and Furious. So, with that said, I'm thinking we're doing number 1, Black Widow, again. I feel like the Marvel fans are just going to be like, no, this is our spot. Number 2, I think obviously is going to go to Space Jam. Number 3, I think it'll be Fast and Furious 9 still. I just feel like it's going to be in the top 3 for a little bit. Number 4, I think Boss Baby is going to be number 4 just because, again, it's the only family movie out. This is the part where I feel like it could go either way because I have picked Boss Baby for number 4 and Escape Room as number 5, but I could see them flipping and like Escape Room being number 4 and Boss Baby being number 5. But for my final tally, I'm gonna pick Boss Baby for number 4 and Escape Room for number 5. Watch me be completely wrong in A Quiet Place Part 2 is like, I'm sorry, I'm number 5. But yeah, those are my choices for this coming weekend's top 5. I'm gonna put my predictions below, so if you want to discuss your predictions with me for this upcoming weekend, definitely comment down below and we'll talk about it. Alright, so that's it for this week's movie talk. How did you guys do on your predictions for last weekend? Did you have any surprises or upsets or anything? Do you agree with any of my predictions for this upcoming weekend? Again, comment down below and we'll talk about it. And then we'll get to see who gets more of their predictions right next week. Should be fun. Until next time, guys, be safe, be well, be silly. Always be silly. And most importantly, please, 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 tell your mother I said hello, okay?